to be at one with your Sony A7R V and for it to be an extension of your brain, you need to program all your custom buttons and dials, change your FN settings and program your My Menu. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that and show you examples of all their effects. So let's dive in and take a look. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration and all the buttons, the dials and the function menu that we've set up on this camera. So starting with the C2 button at the top here, which is our crop sensor. Just note on the A7R V, the crop sensor mode won't work in 4K when you're at 60 frames a second. It will at 30 frames a second or at 1080p. We've got the exposure lock here. If I was to lock this, you could see a star has come up here, so that's when you know the exposure is locked. Moving along, we've got the autofocus on button. If I press that, that will turn it into manual focus, and you'll be able to see at the top of the screen it will say autofocus continuous or autofocus manual. When I move the ring here, this is now the manual. Next along, we've got the C1 button, and I've just changed that to the white balance button so we can get to that immediately. And then the C3 button, we've got a zoom there, so then I can check my focus here. So those two buttons work together really well, so this is really useful on product photography. We've got this textured toggle that will give us our different focus modes. So as you can see at the moment it's on wide. I can move it to expandable. And then wherever I move the spot, that area will be in focus. Then the dial below that, of course, we've set for ISO, so I can just spin that round and change my exposure. So for me that works really well because that's how I'd normally work. Whether I'm in video mode or photographic mode, I would just have the ISO as my one exposure that I'll change. So to have that access on a dial right there is absolutely perfect. And then C4 button for the touch operation, I've just left that as is. And you can see on the FN button how we've now got our settings. Quickly going down the left hand side, you've got your home page with all your settings there. Settings below that is for the camera, exposure, then anything to do with the focus mode, playback mode, all your connectivities, and then at the bottom where it has the suitcase is where you can customize the camera and make more operational changes like that. To customize the buttons, we click over to the right and we go down to operational customize, and then we'll come across to customize the key dial set. At the moment we're just going to go into the camera customization. You can have a separate set for the video, but to keep this simple, I'll customize the camera settings and make the video dials to be the same as the camera dials. You click through again, and the first menu is the rear. We're going to go to the top menu, so we click down. At the top menu, I'm going to leave the button for taking the photos and to record the video, and we're just going to customize the C2 button. And I've set this to be APS-C mode, so it goes from full frame to crop sensor. So on prime lenses you're going to get 1.5 times the crop. Next we come to the buttons at the rear of the camera, and the button 1 AEL, the auto exposure lock, I've changed that to toggle, so that'll either be auto exposure or it'll lock that exposure. And since I'm shooting in manual mode all the time, I might start off with the exposure, the ISO in auto, and this applies to photography or video. I'll set up my video parameters but leave the ISO in auto, and you can move your camera around, look at your scene, and when you think you've got a great exposure, you can just hit that button and then that'll lock that down, and then you're completely manual. So it's a very fast way of working. To change it to other settings, you can click on that, and then as you can see, you can go up and down, choose different settings, or you can come across to the left and you can then choose from different camera settings focus settings, connectivity and customization there. The autofocus on button, I've again changed that to autofocus manual focus and to toggle between the two, the C1 button, and I've just made that the white balance. And the C3 button I've changed to focus magnifier, which you do by selecting that, and I'm in the autofocus focus assist, and then you click on focus magnifier. I've left the C4 button as is, which is touch operation select. If you scroll down or use touch screen, go to the what they call rear 2. The first option is the textured toggle there, which I've changed to focus area. And you do that by going to autofocus manual focus section, focus area, and then click the top one, which is focus area. Just below operation customize is dial customize, and you click over to customize key dial set. All I've changed is the bottom one, which is to make the back dial to be my ISO. I could just spin that dial and it will set my ISO. Using all the custom keys, you can't set up to change the PC remote function, so I've put that in my menu, and you do that by going up to the top to the My Menu. You go to My Menu settings, you click add, select anything from the camera, and you'll see the PC remote function is under connectivity, the transfer remote, and PC remote function, which you'll need when you're tethering to a computer. Next, you'll want to customize your FN setting. So again, from the bottom suitcase icon, you go to Operation Customize, you come across and drop down to FN Menu setting. In there you can change how you want it to be viewed when you're in camera mode or video mode. Many of the settings I copy across, so how I've got this set up is firstly to have the focus area, focus mode, what you want it to focus on. So the target, is it a person, is it a human? I like to be in control of manual focus, and I like my peaking to be set on red so I can see what's in focus. Equally, I always like my zebras on, and occasionally I like to just have these off, so that's why I want to have quick access to those. And of course, most importantly, metering mode, dropping down. If you're a multi-metering, you can have face priority on, which is a lovely new feature. Image quality, or for video, I've got that as image format or video format. So that's really handy if you sort of forget where you're at when you're setting your camera up. You can have a quick look there. View mode is really important because it depends. If you're in normal shooting mode, you want to change the settings, you'll see exposure change. But when you're tethered to a computer and you're using flash, you'll need that to be switched off, so you can still see clearly through the lens or on the screen. Steady shot, your picture profiles, and they're really handy because you can drop in here, and they've got new things like soft skin effect, as well as your creative looks and your D-range optimizer. And in here you can set up your face memory, so I wanted that to be nearby so I can quickly lock in someone's face. I've pretty much matched these up below, but there's one or two changes where I've got audio settings in there. I put my frames per second down here just to recall in my mind whether I'm at the right frames per second and shooting the right video format. I hope you found that useful. Now, if you've got other ways you'd like to see these custom buttons set up, then drop a note in the comments below. And for more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.